for joining me. Oh, my camera is doing some funny things. I'm sorry. Um, Tonight I'm going to do a New Year's meditation. I have done it. I think I'm live. Yeah, I've done it. Gosh, I think this will be the fifth year in a row that I've done it. I started doing it with my women's group. We call ourselves the Tapestry Group, and we do it every year. It's really something that we all look forward to, and so the idea is to do a meditation to help you kind of drop into yourself, and think about what direction you want the year to go in. What direction do you want to go in 2021? And I apologize, I'm a little distracted. I mistakenly turned on the news right before I got online, and I really feel after listening to the senators talking about what needs to be done in response to January 6th really made me realize that I think usually I use the meditation to kind of ground people, to ground us in the new year as we move forward. But I really want to use this meditation for us to drop into our hearts and to let go a little bit of the reality of our physical environment so that we can remember our spiritual side, so that we can remember our humanity, um, that we can remember compassion, and then in moving into that heart space, then create an intention for the year to come. So this is going to be a little bit of a different type of meditation. I've never really done one like this before. But the reason you kind of want to set, you don't have to, but you're here, so the reason I set an intention for the new year is because an intention is like a north star. It's like a beacon. And so as I move through my life and I feel tension, or if I feel anxiety, or if I feel kind of any negative emotion that comes up, I try to remember to stop and to take a breath versus continuing to go into my reactionary, behaviors, which I have plenty, believe me. Um, but if I have a intention, when I'm feeling the rub of, let's say, anger, okay, so I'm feeling angry, if I can use that anger as a message to take a breath. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling anger come up. Let me take a breath and inquire on what's going on inside of me. And then, so I take a breath, and maybe I'm feeling, um, somebody did me wrong, or maybe I'm feeling somebody didn't take my feelings. Who knows why I would feel angry? Maybe someone cut me off in traffic. Um, so that's the action, right? So that's the event. So let's use the someone cut me off in traffic. So someone cuts me off in traffic. I feel angry. I'm driving. Um, I take rather than giving them the finger, screaming, yelling, rather than repressing it or holding it in and allowing it to kind of ruin the rest of my day, if I can take a breath and be like, okay, why am I angry? Well, I'm angry because I feel like that person was inconsiderate and cut me off. Now, one, I'm making a judgment because I don't know, right? They could have been in a hurry to get to the hospital because somebody they loved, got admitted. They could have dropped something, or who knows. But I'm making a story that they're being insensitive or inconsiderate to me as a person. And so I can call it out, but then with breathing, with giving myself the space to acknowledge I'm feeling angry and then looking for what that anger is in response to, it also gives me the opportunity to say, how do I want to respond to this? So if I were to flick someone off, or I were to yell at them, or I were to feel, just milk that anger and just allow it to be carried throughout the rest of my day, that's really going to harm me and not feel very good. One of my meditation teachers, she had a lovely response to when someone cuts her off. And she said she'll honk her horn, but she doesn't honk her horn out of anger, or she doesn't honk her horn. She honks her horn with the intention, be mindful, be careful. So she like her consciously intends to send almost like a prayer or a blessing to the person who's driving maybe a little erratically or, cut her off. Oops, sorry. And so that's kind of what the intention is for. So it's for when we bump up against the rub in life, if we can remind ourselves to take a step back, to take a breath, and then remember the intention that we had created, and then consciously act in response to what's happening, versus what most of us are doing 95% of the time. We're just reacting to what's happening to us because we're on automatic pilot. We're not paying attention. We're not being introspective. We're not taking responsibility for our emotions. And then we plow forward in this kind of reactionary behavior, which I will say most often is a pattern for us that's very like noticeable. Like for me, like I know a lot more about myself now because I've been doing the Enneagram, but prior to that, I'd get very emotional. I would collapse into this kind of emotional ball of just blah. Um, and that was a habit. That was like a really very unhealthy habit. But it was a way for me to kind of not take responsibility for what was going on and to give myself an excuse for kind of collapsing into sadness, which is usually where I go. So, the intention can really be helpful for us to start directing our lives and be conscious creators of our lives. And so today, when we do the meditation, I'm going to invite you to kind of, we'll go into the meditation and we're going to go into the heart space, and then I'm just going to ask you to think about the year coming up and like what do you want more of in your life, you know? And I probably will have us all maybe send a little bit of like peace out into the world because I really think the world needs a little bit more mindfulness, a little bit more peace and compassion. We'll get there. Um, so that's kind of what this meditation is about. It's about a new year. It's about becoming conscious creators of our lives. It's about having intention. It's about giving ourselves space, becoming more self aware, more introspective. Yeah. So that's my intro. So let's go ahead and meditate. If you are in a comfortable position, I just want to, like for you to get into a comfortable position. So I'm going to scoot my chair up a little bit. Sorry. So your feet should be kind of resting on the floor. Your hands can rest on your lap. No crossed arms, no crossed legs because it messes with the energy. We want the energy flowing freely through our bodies. You can be sitting on the floor Indian style or in the lotus position if that's how you prefer to meditate. That's completely fine. So I want you just to get comfortable. I want you to make sure that there's really no distractions around, that hopefully you're in a quiet space where you're not going to be disturbed. Put your phone away. Put it far out of the way or turn it off. And yeah, just take a moment to just sit. And be mindful of where you are right here and right now. And I mean that literally. So being mindful of your home, being mindful of the chair you're sitting in, being mindful of the environment you're in. But I also mean take a moment to be mindful of your internal environment. We're really not taught to be mindful. We are conditioned from the time we are born to be externally focused. And the reality is, as human beings, the richness of the human experience is about the internal environment. And we're not taught that, and so therefore we don't realize that we're really in control of that internal environment. And so we can tend to think that our internal environment is dependent on what's going on outside of us. But in order for you to start changing that belief system, which is not true, it's not true. What is it? Life, 10% what happens to you, 90% how you deal with it, what you do with it. So take a moment to be mindful of your internal environment. What are you feeling? What's your emotional state? Where are you feeling tension? When we're starting to cultivate awareness, a lot of times when I ask clients, what are you feeling? They don't know because, once again, we've not been taught to identify our emotions. We're not been taught to be introspective. We've not been taught how to even care for our emotions, tend for our emotions. And so sometimes you'll ask a question and I have clients and they'll be like, I have no idea. So if you don't know how you're feeling emotionally, go with how you feel, what's going on inside. Where do you feel tension? Where do you feel sensation? What's going on inside of that body of yours? And just allow your awareness to kind of move through your hands and your arms and your shoulders, your neck, your throat, being aware of your head and your scalp, your spine, your hips, your legs and your knees, your lower legs and your feet. So just notice if you're having any sensation, or if you're having a lack of awareness. That's another kind of big one that I'll have clients kind of come up with. Like, where are you not feeling sensation? Or where feels numb? Or where feels empty? And just allow your awareness to rest there for a moment while you breathe. So if you're feeling a little tension in your throat, just bring your awareness to your throat and just breathe. Trying not to have any judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. So trying not to have any judgment on it and just let it be. If you're feeling a little tightness in your shoulders, bring your awareness there and just breathe. Just be mindful. And at this point, as we're just beginning to settle into the meditation, you can certainly roll your neck around. You can kind of rub your shoulders a little bit, roll your wrists, whatever feels good. We're tending to the body and we're beginning to move inward. So do what needs to be done. If you need to shift a little bit, then just drop back in. Bring your awareness where your body is calling awareness and just breathe. We're not trying to change anything. We're just trying to find out where we are. As you hold awareness on certain sensations in the body, you may notice that that changes as you breathe. You may notice emotions come up. You may notice shifting, evolving, or you may notice no change at all. And I would invite you right now to just hold a space for that. We're not trying to change it. We're not trying to control it. We're just trying to allow our bodies to be seen. We're trying to allow ourselves to be seen by us, because we so take for granted our own human form as we're rushing through our lives. And that's how we get chronic pain. I think in many ways that's how we end up with depression or anxiety, because our body's like, wait a minute, I need some attention. And we're just so externally focused. So just dropping in, maybe even taking a few nice deep breaths and sighing it out. The shoulders drop. Give your body permission to relax. On your next exhale, just invite all of the muscles to soften and relax. Feeling yourself settle into the chair or the sofa, the position that you're sitting in right now. And if you notice areas of your body that are having a hard time relaxing, that's okay. It's okay. Just let it be. And so close your eyes if you haven't already closed your eyes. And just bring awareness to your breath. So begin to feel the breath come in and feel the breath go out. Our breath is the greatest tool we have to solicit rest and digest, to solicit the parasympathetic nervous system. We can do it anywhere, anytime, in the car, at work, in the grocery store line. But if we bring our awareness to our breath and then gently coax it into balancing, so kind of allowing the in-breath to equal the out-breath, allowing the breath to soften, seeing if you can feel your belly gently move as your diaphragm descends on the in-breath. And then feel how the belly pulls back in as the diaphragm pulls back up on the exhale. And so just feeling this gentle oscillation of the breath and feeling with each exhale, you're releasing tension, you're releasing tightness, you're releasing toxins. You're inviting your body to just settle, to soften. And as you continue bringing awareness or having awareness on your breath, I'd like for you to imagine that there's a glowing sphere right where your heart chakra is. So right in the center, or right in this spot, right underneath here. So I want you to imagine there's like a ball of energy, and it can be any color. The heart chakra itself is green, but I often imagine my sphere is pink. So it could be gold or silver, but just imagine this kind of energetic orb sitting right there, just beneath the breastbone. And I want you to imagine as you breathe that it moves with the breath. And so as you breathe in, it kind of expands a little bit, maybe even expands throughout your entire chest. And then as you exhale, you feel it contract. So just taking a few moments to really connect with this ball of energy and feeling it open and expand, and then feeling it gently contract. And as you connect with this sphere of energy, I want you to connect with the energy of your heart. Kind of whatever feels like it's coming up for you as you focus on your heart. It might be love or compassion, but I want you just to emotionally connect with this space as well. So as you're breathing and you're feeling love, imagining kind of that feeling of love intensifying, and then that feeling of love reducing, and then intensifying, and then reducing. And staying present with your breath and with this energy of the heart, I want you to imagine on the next few exhales that you're going to consciously release awareness of the external environment. So as you're breathing and as you're staying focused on the heart space, with each exhale, you're just going to start letting go of awareness of the physical environment because you're moving deeper into the center of your being. And then on the next few exhales, seeing if you can release some of the awareness of your body. So just kind of allowing your awareness to come even further into that heart space as you release awareness of kind of your arms and your legs, just trusting that you are safe and secure, supported. You're just bringing that hyper focus into the heart space. And then I want you to imagine that you're going to enter into that heart energy. So you can bring the visualization of like a path that's leading kind of into the center of that heart energy. You can imagine walking into whatever's going to come to mind. So the heart energy, I want it to be somewhere safe, somewhere that you love, somewhere that kind of solicits that feeling. If it had peace or love or compassion, I just really want you to imagine yourself entering into this kind of sacred space of the heart. Sometimes when I do chakra meditation, I'll imagine a lush green garden because the color of the heart is green. So I'll imagine kind of entering into this just delightful garden full of birds and butterflies and really soft grass. But you may experience a different, whatever comes up. But I want it to feel safe and I want it to feel peaceful. And I want it to feel connected to your heart. And as you move into the space, I want you to imagine that you see a body of water. So it could be a fountain, it could be a lake, it could be a puddle, it could be a stream. And you're going to move towards that body of water. And once you get to the edge of that body of water, I want you just to rest your awareness there. So rest your awareness in this yummy, yummy heart energy. And being aware of the environment around you. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you feeling? And then imagining that that water is very calm. So even if it's a stream, you've found a little area that's very calm so that you can look into the water and see your own reflection. And as you see your reflection, I'd like for you to imagine having a conversation with yourself about the past year. Maybe you can just come up with kind of the feelings that you've had over the past year. Maybe you can think about the months, the events that happened. It's been a year full of all kinds, the full spectrum of human emotions for sure, for all of us. Just imagine connecting with kind of like your higher self or your internal self or your heart self. And just review the past year. What lessons did you learn? How did you grow? What was less than ideal? Where did you maybe miss opportunities or not trust yourself? And then thinking about things like, what did you surround yourself with this year? So, because most of us were, hunkering down and experiencing a lot more time either alone or with our nuclear families, what did we surround ourselves with? And how did we manage that? How did we manage the stress of that? And what kind things did we do for ourselves this year? Or how did you treat yourself this year? And how did you treat other people? And then even taking it a little bit further because there's just been so much going on. How did you respond to all the things that were going on outside of you? And what did it bring up for you? Did it bring up fear? Did it bring up compassion? Did it bring up confusion? Did it bring up judgment? I think that this year, of all the years of my life, has offered me the opportunity to know myself better and has offered the greatest opportunities for growth because I really have met myself where I am. And some things I liked and some things I didn't. And so I'd like for you to ask the same question. What did you learn about yourself this year? Perhaps what weaknesses were brought forward that you'd like to work on, or what strengths actually came forward. What did you learn about the life that you've created up to this point? Because most of us actually have come to a standstill. So we're on, full throttle ahead, and COVID is almost the universe's way of saying, not so fast. Let's reassess. Let's reassess the direction you're going. And so as you're having this conversation with your heart, I'd like for you just to reassess the direction in which you're going. And lastly, and most importantly, I want you to ask your heart if it felt fed. How did you feed your heart this past year? How did you take care of your heart? How did you allow your heart to lead? How did you allow your heart to have an influence in your life and in the choices that you've made? Because so often we don't default to our hearts, we default to our heads. And unfortunately, our heads are processing things on a very rational, tangible level, whereas our hearts are operating from that place of love. And that's really, really, truly the experience of being human. Is how often we can turn to our hearts and really allow our hearts to direct our path. And so continuing to breathe, continuing to feel your awareness just sitting right in the middle of your heart space, peering into the water. The image may have changed. The water may have changed. The environment you're in may have changed. Just be mindful. Meditation is all about learning to just be aware. We don't want to change it. We don't want to influence it. We want to just soak up the experience for what it is. And so then I would like for you to imagine that you're seeing kind of your future self in that water, or you're seeing your heart move through 2021. And where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be in 2021? So learning all that we did in 2020, seeing horrific things, and really living on the edge of fear, um, isolation, alienation, uncertainty. And now we face 2021. Who do we want to be? How do we want to show up? And how are we going to bring that connection with the heart into this upcoming year? And so you may come up with a word or a phrase. You may hear a biblical verse, a favorite quote, whatever seems to come up and resonate. And we're just going to sit here for a few moments. Just keep breathing. Keep your awareness in your heart. And just ask, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What do I want to create in 2021? And you may not get a direct message today, but I would ask that you keep an open mind, because it may come to you in the next day or two or three. When you're doing energy work, it can take like 72 hours for, you know, the energy to fully come to the forefront of the physical, because our brains are physical. I mean, our minds are not, our minds are kind of the interface of the physical and spiritual, but it might take some time. So don't get frustrated. But if you got a message, or if you got a word or an intention, just hold on to that and just really milk it, really feel it. And I'd like for you to send gratitude to your heart, to the whatever the reflection was in the water. I would like for you just to send gratitude and to just start to kind of wrap up that communication. Give you a few more moments. And as you wrap that up, I would like for you just to allow your awareness to sit in your heart space. And so you can reconnect with that feeling that, when we were tapping into the heart space, that first feeling that came up, whatever, love, compassion, peace, whatever it is, reconnect with that. And as you breathe, just feel that emotion expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting. And for the next few moments, I'd like for you to imagine as you breathe in, you feel that feeling. And I'll just say, so let's say it's love. As you breathe in, you feel that feeling of love expand throughout your entire chest, your whole, heart space. And then as you exhale, I want you to imagine sending it out into the world. You can imagine sending it to specific people that you know in your life that may be hurting, that may be needing a little bit of positive energy. You can send it to people in your community, people you work with. I would ask that we all send some of that energy to all of the people, including ourselves, who have been touched by the recent events that have happened in our country. There's a lot of pain right now. There's a lot of pain. And so if we can just send out that positive, there's positive vibes of the heart energy. Because in the end, we're all human beings and we all have this heart energy. And we all actually really want to live in this space. It just can feel really vulnerable and scary. And so as you breathe in, feel that emotion expanding. And as you breathe out, send it out to the country. You may even want to send it out to people you might struggle with, people you disagree with. Send it out with people that you may be struggling with now. Send it everywhere. This is, free for all. It's the power of the heart. Send it out. And then eventually just imagine sending it out to the world. Sending it out to the oceans, to all sentient beings, to all the people who are struggling in war or in poverty, who don't have access to food or clean water. Just send it out to the world. It's the beautiful thing of the heart is that love energy is unlimited. Compassion is unlimited. Peace is unlimited. We just have to consciously choose to access it and then live in that space. And then taking one more breath in, feeling that emotion expand, and then exhale it out. Say a little prayer, say whatever feels good, and then come back into awareness of your body. So come back into awareness of your breath, feeling the breath come in and feeling the breath go out. Feeling your body resting on the chair, the sofa, the bed. Feeling the earth beneath your feet. Being aware of your environment, your home, your office, your room, wherever you are. And very gently you can bring movement to your hands and your feet. I always like to roll my neck, but that's because I always get energy stuck in my neck. So you can just kind of, see, I still have energy right now stuck in my neck. Roll your ears, roll your wrists, roll your ankles. And you might want to write down what you experienced today. And definitely when that word or that phrase or that biblical verse or that quote, whatever comes up, put it throughout your house. Put it in your bathroom. I have a chalkboard, and this huge chalkboard. I always write my intention on there. I'll put it in my office. I'll put it in my car. You want to put it in enough places so that it starts to become a habit. So let's say the intention was um, compassion. You want that reminder that when you feel the rub of life, that you want to turn to compassion. And maybe that's self-compassion first. And then maybe it's compassion for whomever, you might be arguing with, you might be disagreeing with, you might be jealous of, whatever, you know. But that intention, it needs to be kind of in the forefront of your mind so you can remember when you feel the rub to breathe, check in what's going on. What's this emotion telling me? What's going on? And then how do I want to respond that's in alignment with my intention? And I would like to just say one last thing. So much of our pain is caused from our own judgment. And as humans, we kind of get caught in this idea that um, we have any idea, like, what's the best thing for everybody else. Like, we think we know what's best for, Joe the neighbor, for our parents, for our children. And the reality is, we don't even really know what's best for us. So, a common phrase that we say in my family is stay in your lane. And I would just encourage everybody during this time of great angst and fear, and as we approach a transition, I would ask you to please just check yourself and just stay in your lane. Don't create any unnecessary angst or pain for yourself by judging, making assumptions, attempting to control what's going on outside of you. Because in the end, and I really think the path to happiness is surrendering control of what's going on outside of us and recognizing that it's all about how we can manage what's going on inside of us. And it's not about control or force, it's about learning to flow and to move, to be introspective, to be responsible for what's happening to us, and then align with where we want to go, who we want to be, and take conscious action rather than reacting. You know, these actions, these behaviors of acting out on anger, um, it's just a reaction. That's just the limbic system, the amygdala's going crazy, the middle brain. And I always tell clients, when we're in the middle brain, you're not in control. There's no control. So when we're in that middle brain, all we can do is take ourselves out of the situation, go breathe and self-care. So the middle brain, which is going to take over when it feels like it's in danger. But if we self-care and we remove ourselves from whatever situation's making us feel like we're in danger, we can relax, and then we will gain access to our frontal cortex again, and then become rational beings again. Because when we're in anger, we're not rational. And actually, a lot of times the emotions aren't rational, but they're telling us something that's really very important. If we can sit, create a space for it and listen. So, thank you for joining me tonight. I wanted to say, if you enjoyed this meditation and you would like to sign up for my newsletter, I do have a button on my webpage. My webpage is torchwellness.com. You have to scroll down to the bottom. I'm going to introduce a new web page soon, and then there's a button up at the top, which makes it much easier. But you can also email us at torchwellness@gmail.com and request to be put on the newsletter, and we'll put you on. Um, I also just wanted to say, for those of you who know me or are aware of this, for those of you who are new to me, my life just turned over. The universe is, wasn't really happy with the choices I had made. So I am opening my own integrative psychiatry practice that I'm very excited about. And I will be incorporating all kinds of things like diet and supplements and exercise and mindfulness and pharmaceuticals, to help really lift people up, help teach people how to manage and treat and heal depression and anxiety. So if you are interested in any of that, you can contact us too at torchwellness@gmail.com. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Happy New Year. And please contact us on Facebook and let us know about your the meditation today, or you can let us know on the side here. But I love to hear uh, how this affected people. So please send me an email. I'd love to hear from you, or post something on Facebook. Okay. So thank you. Have a good night. Bye.